I'd only lightly considered is for someone who has to deploy, it's probably difficult to maintain some of those relationships and keep those conversations going on a regular basis. With something like this and literally in your pocket, it changes the whole dynamic. So what was your life before that deployment? Had you been deployed many other times? Is this kind of routine for you?
I wouldn't say it's a routine. The last one before that, I ended up going to Kandahar in Afghanistan in like 2016. This one wasn't as bad. It wasn't nothing too crazy, but it was one of those, one of those fears that you have, like, man, I created this family, I created this group of people, and then now I had to leave for such a long time. So it was like, that inner fear. You're like, man, well, I'm gonna come back and like everybody's gonna be gone, it was wild because as soon as I came back.
Are you referring to Stream, like the Stream family, or are you talking about people in your real life?
No, they're talking about the Stream family. Like,
Stream family.
I'm by myself out here. I live in Hawaii, so I'm not near anybody. So, it's just as soon as I came back, everybody was so welcoming and just, it was just such a good feeling to, like, you come home to something. I know it's not typical to like a Stream family, but, that's what I have out here.
Yeah.
So
this is, and honestly, it's coming right off the back of playlist. Even though this is virtual, and I say terminology like real life versus streaming, this is real life. And it's evident from just 2 weeks ago, the people who met for the first time in person, it was like they'd known each other their entire lives. It was like two long lost family members being reunited over and over and over again. So have you had the opportunity to be able to meet anyone from on the platform in real life?
I have. I actually did a meetup in Vegas a while back. It wasn't obviously not to the magnitude of playlist, but it was a really good experience. It was just a really great time. Everybody was really, really chill. It was just really great. And you were right. Like it's like you get to know people behind a screen, but you're getting to know their personality more than anything. So it's kind of like if you feel like you've kind of known these people, like it was not even a new meetup. It was just like, hey, this is just somebody I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah. And by the way, everyone, if you're just now joining, this is Jay Rose. He's our first guest on Suited Up this evening. Make sure you hit the favorite button on. We've got a lot more conversation to go. Let's dive a little bit into that deployment. Thank you for your service. I know that military is your career, which is obviously something that not everyone can be cut out for. I would put myself into that. I don't think I would do very well. But what happens during that deployment? What type of work do you do in the military?
So I handle a lot of the logistics. I deal with a lot of munitions. So my job is an 89 Bravo, which I handle munitions. So I handle the more logistic side of things where I keep accountability of, all sorts of ammunition, no matter what it is. So it's to resonate with the civilian world. It's mainly logistics for hazardous material.
Got it. And so you came back, and was Meet Me Something or live streaming something that you were able to do after or during that deployment, or was it something you had to pick back up?
It was definitely something that I had to pick back up. Out there, it's like hit or miss. A lot of times they don't want us to have our phones out, like limited on like internet and Wi-Fi, things of that nature. So it was definitely like a long disconnect from everybody.
Got it. But you're back now, thankfully, and we're happy to see you here. So tell us a little bit about what you've been up to since then. I know that you've been streaming, but in your not live streaming time, you like to do a lot of outdoor activities. I assume being in Hawaii, that lends itself to it. What are some of those things that you like to do outdoors?
Outdoors, I actually recently started diving. I've been scuba diving. That's like a whole new world in itself. Like you get to see so many different things that not many people get to see. And that's just like, I'm always been an outdoors person, like camping, fishing, and all those great things. But scuba diving was definitely something that I can't believe that I haven't started sooner in my life.
Wow. And are you a lifelong Hawaiian?
No, actually, I was born in California and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. And then ever since then, I joined the military back in 2015, and I've literally moved ever since. Like I haven't been in one spot.
I was going to say, because as a Hawaiian, I feel like scuba diving is You're like born with a snorkel. You just come out. You got a surfboard, a snorkel, and like a can of Spam. You're like ready to go. But that wasn't the case for you. You ended up taking up snorkel. It's not snorkeling either. It's scuba diving. So you're
You're
going
right.
deep.
Yeah, going
How
deep.
deep are we talking?
It depends. I know the last shipwreck that I did was about 130 feet below sea level. And I have some of those pictures on my Instagram. And then
You can't casually use the terminology. The last shipwreck that I did, like it was a Tuesday. I visited a shipwreck and picked up a bottle of mayonnaise. Like no, so how did you get into shipwreck diving?
so it's just one of the options that you have. So when I'm going through a dive master program to where I can become a dive master and then eventually instruct people on diving. And that's just some of the prerequisites that you have to do in order to become a dive master. You have to be able to do deep dives. For the sake of the word, it's literally called penetration wreck diving. So where you can enter a ship. So it's
They gave you the brief. I know they gave you the brief. No, that's interesting. And if you find treasure or things like that, are you entitled to it? Or is it something that you have to, it's not doing it, you know, people?
So it depends, right? So because even though some ships are underwater and they haven't been resurfaced and they've been down there for years, some people still own them. Like they still actually own them. So anything you take out of it technically could be stealing. So it's like one of those things where you have to like do your homework and do your research and really find out like, hey, does anybody own this? If I find something, can I keep it?
You're telling me that if I have a ship and I just crashed, and I was like, well, I guess that happened. I just leave it at the bottom of the ocean, and you go and find things. I go like, wait, I was keeping that there at the bottom of the ocean. I'm still entitled to it.
It's because it belongs to you. Like it's like having a title to a car that's somewhere in the woods. You know, if somebody decides to take it, technically it's still yours.
Wow, how the law works. That's interesting. Super interesting. Welcome to Suit It Up, everyone. If you happen to leave your car in the woods and someone breaks into it, it's still illegal. Okay. Make sure you're hitting the favorite button on J Rose is our first guest this evening. Still up on the docket, we have two other wonderful guests. We have Timeless and Maze, so keep it locked in for all of that. Do you ever get scared when you're down underneath the water? You know, it's not like you can't take a break. You got everything to keep you alive down your back. And that's a really humbling feeling, I imagine.
It's definitely different, and I think that's why, like, you know, during the course of going through the schooling and stuff, they definitely teach you all kinds of different ways to prevent things from happening. I think the scariest time I have underwater is doing night dives because it's also a prerequisite. So we have to dive at night, and just like I did the Sea Tiger at 130 feet below sea level. You can't see, 3 or 4 feet in front of you, and it's dark. You can't see anything. So you have to hope that your flashlight lasts long enough underwater. And you can't really see because, there's white-tipped sharks out here in Hawaii. You can't really see at night. So it's kind of like one of those things where you kind of got to stay on your toes a little bit.
What are some of besides, just casually diving to places with sharks, what are some of the rookie mistakes or things that you believe people don't consider when it comes to diving? I'll give you an example. I found out somewhere along in life that the reason that people, when they dive, they fall off backwards is to deal with like the air and how it's taken in. Are there any other little nuances or things like that that you don't think people may realize that are really important to diving?
I think people typically don't pay attention to their air consumption sometimes. You have a meter that tells you how much air you're consuming, and you see something like a shipwreck, and you're just so interested, and you're seeing all this cool stuff that you've never seen before underwater. Yeah. And, people forget to look at the one thing that's keeping them breathing is to pay attention to how much air is left in their tank and try to figure out, okay, it's going to take me this long to get back up. Because you can't just shoot to the surface because you cause a lot of injuries that way. So I think that's probably one of the main things that people forget about.
I know that if you go up too fast, like you said, your lungs can collapse due to the change in pressure. And there's a lot of other negative consequences that can happen. Basically, what I think they're saying is we're not supposed to be that deep underwater, so you could be part of the shipwreck if you're not careful. Okay, but
Absolutely.
you're going to be a dive master. I happen to be a dual master, so like it's kind of the. All right, that's a swing and a miss. What qualifies someone
Listen, I
as
play Magic the
a
Gathering,
diver
sir. Okay?
master? Huh?
Listen, I play Magic the Gathering, sir. Okay? It's okay. Get it. Get it.
Hold on. You're speaking my language, sir. Now, are you just saying that, or are you actually down with the cardboard?
Oh no. I play standard. Okay. I
You
play
play
standard.
standard?
I play standard.
What are you currently main decking right now?
So I run a mono green deck. A lot of people know that who play that. That's just a lot of very big, powerful monsters, really fast.
Wow.
Mono
Do you
green
play
aggro.
modern?
I don't play modern. I don't play modern.
Okay. Well, I still believe you because you referenced playing standard, and no one plays standard anymore. So that's pretty cool, man. I'm an avid Magic the Gathering player as well as other trading card games. Behind this lovely skyline is, in fact, a whole shelf of vintage trading cards and sealed boxes. Well, I'll have to show you sometime. This is not about me; it's about you. And as we move to the final segment of our conversation, is there anything important that you'd like to highlight, talk about, go over before we go?
So the biggest thing of the reason why I applied for my top badges is because I believe that the mental health of individuals is so important, and I think that sometimes it gets overlooked because we're on a streaming platform. So a lot of times we get a lot of people that just say things and don't understand the consequences behind them. And so in the military, I also teach equal opportunity, and I also teach like basically self-awareness and health and sexual harassment. So
Wow.
that's something that I really felt was important to bring into the platform because I think that a lot of people don't understand the what sexual harassment is. Like some people have a big definition of it. And I think it's a big issue on the app, and that's something that I would love to bring to the app to bring more awareness to, and then also educate people, because what you don't know, you don't know. And even for me and you, as like maybe we understand, like, hey, like, yeah, that's probably something you shouldn't do or say to people, but some people honestly really just don't know sometimes, and I feel like the more educated people are, the less it happens.
I have a background in women and gender studies, believe it or not. So this is a whole separate type of conversation that I would love to have with you. Unfortunately, we're out of time. So if you have not, make sure that you hit the favorite button on J-Rose. We're going to have another conversation sometime in the near future. But until then, hit him with the favorite button. Thank you so much, man. Congratulations on your diving achievement. We didn't mention this, but you have graduation coming up soon, right?
Yes, I graduate October 16th from Dive Master.
Excellent. He put in the work. Make sure you hit the favorite button on him so that when October 16th comes by, you can celebrate, turn up with him, but not too fast. You can only go like 5 feet a minute or something like that. So, yes, that one hit. All right. So thanks so much for being here, Jay Rose, for being on the show.
Hey, Chris, I appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. This is Suited Up and Say Weekly Talk Style show we do every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a show where we bring on people from both on and off of the platform. I am gone. Okay, I'm back. It was scary. It was terrifying. It was a majestic horse and a scenery and everything. I'd like to give a special shout out to our top gifters. But before I do that, if Timeless, if you'll please request the box just so that we can have you on deck. During these conversations, you may notice we get into particular or specific things, and out of respect to the guests and the conversation, I like to make sure that we don't break. But we are at intermission, so at this time, I'd like to give a special thank you to Latin Spice, which is our man, Jay. Thank you, Jay, for the gifts. We got our boy, John B. We got Coco. Is that Young Lord's Coco? That is a whole photo. We have K-Dubs. We have Bart, Good Listener, Miss Chocolate Miss Cupid. Mm. Our top three for the evening so far. We have, oh my gosh. Whoa, Tony with 20K on the board, landing you at third. Good listeners have fun. That's not even the top three. 20K doesn't get in the top three. Y'all are going crazy today. Wow, thank you so much. In third place, Tawny. In second place, I believe that is this Lemon Day? No, that's Southern Girl Bell. I cannot tell. Southern Girl Bell, thank you so much for all the love and hospitality. And in the first place spot, we've got Brooklyn 718, responsible for too many name changes and totally on my bad list for every single rundown. Stop. Please. At least not for Fridays. All right, on that note, our next guest you may recognize from being a top batch, for turning up in the streams and having a great time. You may want to see her for a long while, but I can tell you that she'll be a while because she is timeless. Timeless. Welcome to the show. It's so good to see you.
Hello, 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 Chris. It's good to see you again after I saw you this past weekend at Playlist.
I know. You want to talk about that right off the cuff? Should we like right from the rip talk about that, or should we save it?
Sure, whatever you want to talk about. It's your show.
I guess I am control of this. I should be anyway, right? Yeah, let's start immediately by talking about playlist. So that was your first playlist, right?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
Okay. Give the honest, because I know this dude who every Friday was shouting from the hilltops, you don't want to miss this thing. It's a cannot miss event. It's crazy. Memories are going to be made, blah, 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 blah. But what did you honestly expect playlist to be before going?
I thought Playlist wouldn't be as fun as it actually was. To be honest, it was a very great experience. I thought it was just going to be a bunch of groups put together. They talked about panels. I thought we were just going to learn a lot about streaming and just be pretty much bored. But when I went, we had a great time. I think all the apps mixed very well, from the POF lounge to the all white party, to all the events that were put together. It was honestly and truly amazing. I will go again and again and again as long as I'm on this app and playlist posted. I got to meet Chris in real life, super dope. And I think the relationships I made were that I already made prior to and while there exacerbated, because it's on a personal level now. Like, now I know how you look, feel, smell.
Be careful. I got a reputation, please. I was running. I was moving a lot, all right?
He was. I caught Chris when he was running late, so he was a little on the smelly side.
I went up to Mia. For those of you who know, she works behind the scenes with myself. And I said, Mia, I need a favor, please. I was like, how do I smell? And and she, without even flinching, just got in there. She just got right in there. She's like, you're good. I was like, okay, thank you so much. But so you were expecting like some charcuterie boards and like a panel and like maybe a dude who's got like with the Bud Light on tap. Like
yes.
You're expecting that. Now, why don't you let the people know who are watching? You were at Playlist, first time ever. You got to experience. What was Playlist actually?
Playlist was an event for streamers. So I met streamers from Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Meet Me, POF, and even like people that don't stream, gifters, viewers, fans, if you may say. I don't like to call people fans. It's just people that love the entertainment. I met people too as well, and it's an event for them, because I went to a panel that a few of my streamer friends were on. Holly was on a panel. It's Jilly Baby was on a panel. And going to those events, I learned about monetization of other apps, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and it was really, really cool to learn about these apps. So I learned a lot as well. So if you wanted to go to the panels, you can go to the panels. If you wanted to party, you could party. You could do it all. It's a good mixture of events for any type of personality you have. I know people that were there that were also very shy and introverted. And when they came to Playlist, they felt very welcomed. The way the platform, the Meet Group put together Playlist is very welcoming to everyone.
Wow, those are great words. By the way, everyone, we're just getting started with Timeless right now. Make sure you're hitting the favorite button on her. She is our second guest on Suited Up. I'm so happy that you felt like the events were inclusive, and especially that you highlight that some people, when they come to the event, they have a different level of comfortability. You know, they're not necessarily the person that's going to be the life of the party or even wants to be the center of attention, but there's places and conversations and new friendships waiting for the person who wants to be in the limelight, the person who wants to stand over in the corner and just kind of people watch. There's really something for everyone. So if you had to give top best moment or most memorable positive thing at the event, what would you say?
Most memorable moment was probably honestly the top moment was maybe meeting Jim B. I thought that was really really cool.
Ooh,
And I have a picture with him. Jim B. I don't know if anybody knows, but Jim B. is known to be the owner of the app. I don't know if this is true.
that's
I
not
met
true.
him. I met Holly. Yeah, I don't know if it's true, but ever since I
we crack up all the time. Like there's all these rumors. I can tell you who Jim is if you want, but keep going. I'll keep going.
okay, please tell me. I would love to know.
Okay, I tell you.
I met Holly. Honestly, it was meeting a lot of people. Meeting Chris Casper. Um, it was everything. One of my good friends getting her top badge on her birthday at Playlist. That was amazing.
Mordred. Yeah, yeah.
Yes, Marjorie got her top badge at Playlist on her birthday. Super cool.
That was really special. We did that in person in a very, very hot and sweaty room. There was like 15, 16 people behind me. Were you able to make it into that part?
No, no, I just missed it, but
You
I
just
met
missed
her right
it.
after at the POF lounge. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a cooker. Like we were cooking in there, but it was a lot of fun. I can tell you about Jim. So Jim is awesome. He is C level in the company. But he's like my boss's boss. But he reports to the owner, one of the founders of the platform. But yeah, he's definitely a legendary figure in the community. He helped to give me the opportunities that I have, and I've had a personal relationship with him for many years. I can't thank him enough. And to see the light like shine in him and Tom and everyone else from the platforms, like it's because of you and because of the community and like the thanks and the appreciation for the friendships and the camaraderie. It's like it's not you don't hear people like saying things like, "Wow, thank you for giving me a way to make so much more money" or stuff like that, which is the case for some people. They say, "Hey, I met my best friend here." Or I met my girlfriend or my boyfriend here. Like that's crazy. And so to see those types of things happen, I definitely get on my soapbox.
Yes, yes, that's true. So Thomas, Catherine.
Tom is my boss. Tom is. I don't want to out everybody too far. Catherine is one of the co-founders.
Okay, so we getting
But
closer.
yes,
Catherine,
Catherine is a real person. She is
Yes, yes.
awesome.
I think she was there. I think somebody took a picture with her, if I'm not
She
mistaken.
was not there this year, unfortunately. She
Oh,
had something happening that was a conflict of time. But she has been there before, and she is very, very cool. I've had the honor of meeting her many times.
oh, that's awesome. But yeah,
Yes.
that's playlist.
So let's make this about
Please
you
go.
again, though.
If you didn't go to playlist, please go get a ticket as soon as they open tickets. Get one on discount if they have the discount, because I'm pretty sure they will.
Yeah,
Premium
yeah.
pass and everything.
We already started planning for next year. I've been in 2 meetings already this week talking about playlist 2023.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, all right. One last thing. One last thing I gotta mention. So both the Friday and Saturday night party were backup plan versions of first version plans. So these time, like the time that we had at the Friday and Saturday night parties, were insane. Like to quote some of my other friends, they're like, "This is a movie. This is crazy." They were the second options, right? We this time are planning indoor from the get go. We're like, nope, we're gonna do it safe. We're gonna do it big. We're gonna do it right. And so if this year was big, next year's insane. Like, if this year was big, next year's insane. That's the last thing I'm gonna say. Okay, back to you. So you have a talent that I did not know. This is really cool. You speak another language, one that someone may not first guess. What language is that?
Swahili. I was born in Kenya.
Mhm.
I've lost a lot of it, honestly, because I don't speak it and I was raised here. So I have lost a lot of it and I understand more of it than I speak.
Sure.
But yeah, Swahili. I was born in Kenya, East Africa. And
Wow. How long were you in Kenya for?
see, you put me on the spot. I
Were
was
you like, I was born there, but like a couple weeks later?
Brooklyn. I was okay. So I was born in Kenya. I was there for a year and a half, and then um, no, my dad was actually here before my mom, and then my mom and me and my sister came over when I was 1.5.
Got it. Got it.
So I was raised here, and I've been back plenty of times. So we're planning on going back in December.
But even though you weren't raised there most of your life, it sounds like the culture and heritage is still there, especially if you learn Swahili. So can you tell us a little bit about what that meant growing up, whether it was from traditions, trips back to Kenya?
Jumbo Sana. Okay, so I think the best thing about being raised in a Kenyan household is the traditional background. I feel like I was raised in a very different household than a lot of my other friends. I wasn't able to do many of the things that my friends could do, but I think I'm kind of thankful for it. Like I would ask my dad to go to the movies, and he was like, "We have a TV at the house. What do you need to watch movies for? Like do your homework. Like there's more homework, and if I don't have homework, he'll give me more homework." But as a child, you don't appreciate it, but as an adult, you appreciate it because
Right.
it brought me to where I am today. That's how I'm my mom and my grandmother who cook, who taught me how to cook and still do all the time. Like if I go and to my grandmother, she's always gonna have something for me to make, or she's gonna make sure if I'm cooking, she's watching me, and if I put too much salt, she's gonna tell me still to this day. She doesn't care. Like I'm always doing something wrong. Like you could never be perfect.
I mean, too much salt. I don't even know if too much butter, too much salt. Those are like foreign
Anything.
words. Foreign. Uh, but you said it was like strict, that there were some high levels of discipline, but you're thankful for it because it's really put you in a position as an adult to be prepared for those things. What were some of the other traditions or norms that you had that maybe some other people may not? Whether was it dinner time or holidays, birthdays, things like that?
Not really. I feel like school was the biggest. Like the
School.
discipline on school. School was the biggest. I mean, we're Christian, so we celebrate the same holidays.
Sure.
Most of the same holidays. Um, yeah, nothing too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into the cooking then, because we all love food. And before we do, though, make sure you hit the favorite button on Timeless. This is Suited Up. It's a show we do every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We bring people from both on and off the platform, do a little conversation so that you can meet one of your new favorites. So cooking is a talent. It's an art form. Tell us about your art.
Um, well, I just like to cook. Like, I honestly, if I want to cook something, I can just make it. And I like to cook for others. Like, if it's me, like, I'll wait until I'm hungry to make something or even order food. But if I'm around people, I'll definitely cook anything. My favorite thing to make is probably, I like to make baked ziti. I like to make baked ziti, chicken, wings, shrimp. I can make, honestly, yeah. Like, I'll do like a taco.
Hold on. You said a very sensitive word for me. This is a critical answer, all right? You like your wings dry or wet?
Wet.
Wet one. Okay, we passed. Look, I had someone recently try and sell me on dry rub,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fine, but it's not a good sauce. Like nothing beats a good sauce on a wing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a saucy person. I like sauce. I'm a very
Saucy.
saucy
It keeps
person.
the
Yeah.
sauce.
Like I need extra ranch. I need it all. Like just bring all the sauce you have.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm from the Midwest, so ranch, you're speaking my language. I wrote a poem actually about ranch one time. It was called Put It On Me. But
I
let's
gotta,
move
I
back
gotta.
to you when your streams. How did you get started with all this thing? Did you have a friend? Were you looking for romance?
Funny enough, so I was still in school when I discovered the app, or the app was brought to me. So
Mm,
I was in law school, and I never really got to see my sister. I never really got to see my family. She was like, okay, so I'm gonna come visit you this weekend, since I know that you'll be busy. You're busy with school. So she came to visit me. She was, no, she told me beforehand because we were talking on the phone. She was like, "There's this weird thing that I go on, and I don't think you. I think you'll think it's weird, but I want to show you it in person before I show you." So she came. So she came, and then she showed me it, and then she went into somebody's room, and they were like, "Hey, such and such." I don't want to say her name, but they were like, "She's not on the app, but I'm gonna just say Cece." They were like, "Hey, Cece," and I'm like, "How do they know who you are?" I was like, "That's weird." So she went into another stream and they said the same thing. They were like, "Hey, Cece," I'm like, "This is very weird. Like, how do they know who you are?" Um,
Weird, but
and
you were interested.
honestly, I was very interested. I was intrigued. So we
Okay.
decided to go live. So we went live and our stream was very dead. So she was like, "You know what? Let's get off and let's hop into date boxes." So we did that. Um, so we hopped into a lot of date boxes. I hopped into Mercedes date box my first day on the app. This is in March of 2020, like peak COVID. March 2020, peak COVID. Hopped into Mercedes date box, hopped into Role Model Fresh's date box, hopped into a few other people's date box that aren't on the app no more. Zaddy V, I don't know if you remember him. A few other people I hopped into their date boxes. So to meet people and put our faces in front of people and to get some favorites. And then we went live again. So it went from there. So she actually went to sleep and I stayed live. I was live like for like a few more hours. I almost stayed up almost all night. Like that's how much I
Your
loved it.
cousin went to sleep and a star was born.
My
That's what
sister,
happened.
my
Or
sister.
your sister went to sleep and a star was born.
Yeah.
Okay. And the rest is history. So you were like, hey, what was the name of that thing again?
Yeah, no, actually, so she was on POF actually, and then I went into somebody's stream and they said, "Hey, don't get on POF, like get on Meet Me because it's better." Because I think back then Meet Me was considered better than POF over there.
All platforms are equal.
Yeah,
Whether
yeah,
you're a Meet Me Scout, Plentyfish, Zeus, Chispa, you name it. I said something there.
Just
You
is
you are
that a
getting
new app?
same features. I'm sorry.
But is so right after that, I told you I was in school. So honestly, I left the app for about 4 months because I graduated like 2 weeks later. Or I mean, actually no. So I started in March. I barely streamed because I had finals. Then I graduated and I had to study for my bar exam. I don't know if you know what a bar exam is, but it's the exam
Mm.
you need to take to be a licensed attorney. So that takes about 3 months. So I took about 3 months to study for the exam, take the exam, and then I waited about a month to get my results. So I was just all over the place. September of 2020 is when I really started streaming. That's when I got my results back. I found out I passed the exam.
Mm.
I got sworn in October. And from
And,
there,
and you're a lawyer?
I am a licensed attorney. I am. I'm not even just a lawyer. I'm an attorney.
She's a licensed attorney. What is your specialization?
Business. And
Business.
yes, I'm a business attorney, but by profession, I'm a corporate attorney. I work in house. So I
Okay.
review litigation documents from 9 to 5.
Okay. So like
It's not too fancy, but I am a licensed.
no, it is. You're swinging for one team. You're like, I got my people, they pay me, and I don't have to worry about if I'm defending the right or wrong people. It's just the
Exactly.
people. Yeah, it's one. This is one. I like that. It's good for you.
Corporate,
Oh,
yes,
cool.
exactly. It's very chill. I review litigation documents, and that's it. 9 to 5. It's awesome. I love it. I don't like to litigate. I'm not an arguer. I'm not one of those people that just argue. Just give me what I got to do. Like I do the documents. I do the reading. I do the writing.
Mhm.
I'm good at that.
So you don't ever have like a small fantasy of being in a courtroom saying, Your Honor,
No,
I'd like to
no,
present to the jury.
I did that. I did that in for like an internship, and it was cool. But dealing with clients that are like you have their life on the line is a lot, and that's very stressful. That's why they pay high end litigators a lot of money. That's why lawyers get paid a lot of money. I mean, you have
Yeah,
life on your hand, and that's very stressful.
it is if you have a conscience.
Yes, exactly. And some
Which you
people,
do. And I think that's a good note to wrap on.
yeah.
So Timeless, this is our second guest ever. Make sure you're in the favorite. Timeless, is there anything else that you'd like to sneak in there before we go? You obviously are a wonderful person, wonderful streamer, have a ton of things we could talk about. But any other things you want to shout out or plug before we go?
Yes. Bella for top badge. I'm sorry. But Bella for top badge, she's number 2.
Who did this? Who put you up to it?
Sorry, she's number 2 of the stream. I am Nino's for top badge. He's not in here, but please, I love those 2 people. Give them their top badge. That's about it. I stream from about 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Catch me during that time on the weekends, anytime.
Love it. Perfect.
All
Ladies and
right.
gentlemen, Timeless in the box. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
So
for
happy
having
to have
me.
you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Happy to have you again. Happy to see it play us. Can't wait until the next one. Hey, if you're just now joining, my name is Chris Casper, and it's great to be with you. This is a show called Suited Up that we do every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's where we bring on guests from both on and off of the platform who have interesting stories. So whether they're a streamer, they know how to jump rope really fast. Maybe they make a mean tiramisu and can spell it. Arguably more impressive. Zach, where's Zach? Do you agree? Zach probably agrees. We neither of us can spell. A special thank you to our guests so far this evening, J Rose and Timeless, who just left the box. Mace, if you'll please request the box so we can have you on deck. I'd like to give a very special shout out and thank you to our top 10 gifters so far this evening. And an honorable mention of 11th, Zach Stafford. In 10th place, K Dubs. 9th spot, Low. That's my front row tag. We got Ian Steven. We've got our boy Bart, Sin City Robert, Good Listener, Tawny, Miss Cupid. We've got Miss Southern Girl Bella in the number 2 spot. Well, I was cruising right through. Let me go back over this. Top 3. In the 3rd place spot, we've got Miss Cupid. In the 2nd place spot, we've got Miss Southern Girl Bella. In that 1st place spot, oh my gosh, Brooklyn. She's like, Chris, here's my apology for screwing up all the names and all the rundowns. That's accepted. Thank you so much. Brooklyn, thank you so much for being top gifter so far this evening. Really do appreciate it. All right, our 3rd guest this evening is someone who is newer to the platform, but not new to content creation and having an interesting story. So, and storyteller by nature, ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to introduce you, our 3rd guest this evening. She goes by Maze. How's it going, Maze?
Hello. How are you?
I'm excellent. It's wonderful to be with you. It's daytime?
Yeah, it's 11:44 in the
11?
morning. Afternoon now.
Okay. So if I had to like play bingo of cultural, like cross-cultural things like this, I don't know if I'd have Middle Eastern refugee Australian on my bingo card. You are definitely the first, and we have to start off with just your story because it's incredible. So can you take us back to the beginning? You are originally from the Middle East.
Yeah, I was born in Baghdad, Iraq, and
Okay.
I was born there. And then, long story short, I was born there. We migrated to Jordan. That didn't get accepted, so we went back to Iraq. And then war started. We escaped war, came to Australia, and then I actually got put in a kids' refuge. In a foster home. I was in a foster home, then I went into a kids' refuge.
Wow.
That's long story short.
That is a long story short. I'm going to shift my host interview style because this is important content. This is something that not everyone has the ability to tell. And so whatever your threshold of comfortability is, please walk within it. But to go back to the beginning, so you were born in Baghdad, and how long did you live in Baghdad?
I lived there I left when I was about 4 or 5, and I went to Jordan. So maybe like till I was 4 or 5, then went back there for another year, and then the war started. So altogether, probably 5 to 6 years.
Okay.
And then I lived in Syria and Jordan mainly.
And when you say the war, do you mean when the U.S. Came to
Yes.
Iraq? Okay.
Yes.
And so your family was fleeing that.
Yes, we fled that.
Okay. Now, again, barring too deep of a political conversation, but just from an anecdotal perspective, as a child living in Baghdad in the Middle East, going to Jordan, what was that experience like? I'm sure it wasn't just as easy as packing up some bags and saying we're going to go somewhere different for a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was hard. I learned a lot. I grew up very quickly. It taught me resilience. I have a lot of empathy and understanding for humans. I can relate to people. So it's a double-edged sword. It was hard. I never had stability. I never had friends that, you grew up with. Everyone kind of has their friends they grew up with. I don't have that because I never really got to keep friends. I had to move every 2 months. And then eventually, it taught me a lot. but like I say, your pain is your power. So I find that it taught me so much, and I was allowed to. I did grow up very quickly, but at the same time, I wouldn't be the way. Like I wouldn't be Mace, and I wouldn't be the person I am today if it wasn't for all of that. Like cliche.
Understood. No, it is understood. I'm a firm believer that it's our environment and the
Yeah.
situations that we experience that help to define who we are. How we internalize that is an entirely different story. But it sounds like for you, you are clear in understanding how that happened for you. What age, or do you remember on what year it was that you left Jordan?
I don't remember the year. No, I remember we left. We got to Iraq in 2002 or 2003. It was it was the end of 2002. We got back to Jordan, because I remember we came to Australia in 2004 in March.
Okay.
So it was the start of March. Yeah. So I was there for about 8 months of the war.
Okay. The program that put you in was it a refugee camp? Was it more of like a community where people who are fleeing the same situation were coming together so that they had others around them that had commonality? How does that work?
So you kind of just leave, you pack up all you can pack, like anything that you can, and get in a car and off you go. We had a little refugee camp that was safe for us. We did go back to collect the rest of our items and belongings, and the whole house was completely destroyed. We were there at the start because I remember very clearly the day of the invasion and everything that happened. It feels like an earthquake. So even when you're trying to grab your stuff, everything is shaking, and sirens are going off. So it's very it's really rattling. So I always had to learn to be on it. Like I had to always, so now, it was very mind opening. I'm very lucky to have escaped it. But even the hard part is actually escaping. Because when you take a car from country to country, and there's a lot of people that stop and rob you. So that was the hard part, that some people can stop you and, you can cause them some harm. So that was the part that we made it out of. So I'm lucky.
Yes, and we're happy that you're safe and you're here and you're able to share that story. You said that you look back though, and you are thankful because it has helped to shape you into the person that you are today. So how, and again, this is I think this might be one of the toughest questions. How would you describe yourself then? Who is that person that was molded from these adversities and climbing through these situations?
It shaped me to be a very resilient, analytical, empathetic human. And I'm very empathetic, but also I hold my boundaries really well and understand what I need to do for that. And also, a lot of resilience and understanding, and just knowing how to analyze, how to problem solve. That also was a big part of who I am now.
Yeah. I guess I should have tacked on the last end of this, because there's a point I'm steering you to, is that you are artistic. You have different mediums that you express yourself through. I know that wasn't your first choice, though. You had gone to school for something else before the arts. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's been a mixture. So I went and did dermal science. I got into that, and then because I went into foster home, then I went to a kids refuge, and after I left the kids refuge, I was there for a year, and that kind of changed my outlook. So I as a young child, I never really I was very artistic, very creative, but I never had the tools or the time or the time to express myself. I never got to express myself. So when I was even when at the age of 14, I had a camera and I was doing photography. So that started for me. And I used to write poetry at the age of like 8. From the time I remember I can write, I was always writing. So writing was always my outlet. And then I went and did dermal science and became a skin therapist. And with that, I but I was always creative. So I did modeling. I'm a makeup artist. I did styling. I did social media. So I dabbled in a lot of mediums. I paint. Yeah. So art is, and then writing as well. Writing poetry. That was like my outlet. So yeah, it's like it's a balanced thing. I love science and arts.
What is 8-year-old Maze find herself writing poetry about? I'm sure the 8-year-old version of you have matured through life's experiences much more quickly than probably many other 8-year-olds. But so what did you find 8-year-old version of you writing poems about?
I used to write a lot about love and how humanity is going to come back together. And I also, I was a hopeless romantic for an 8-year-old. So I was always in these fake love stories in my head that I was like, right down. So but I always loved rhyming. The way I write now is very, very different. But I used to write a lot about love and just loving people and coming together. That was what I hoped for.
Wow. And as you've grown and you've become an adult, you said that you studied science, studied skin, makeup, things like that. What do you find your poetry and work to be about now?
My poetry is very personal because it comes from my heart, it comes from my experience, it comes from my raw emotion. It's based on personal growth. It's based on how the pain that you endure and the vulnerability, the honest raw truth of what goes on inside our minds, and just being raw and authentic about it. I talk about my experiences growing up, and I talk about also hope. I talk about humanity coming together. That's like, consciousness. So it's a mixture now, but predominantly definitely consciousness, love, and personal growth.
It's interesting that you came from situations of conflict and the uglier side of what humanity can be. Do you believe that your positivity and how you write was built out of wanting the opposite, or because you believe that humans are the opposite?
I believe through adversity we can learn so much, and it's not just your experiences, it's what you do with your experiences. What is it that you're willing to break down and break the cycles, take accountability, do the actualization, realize what you need to do for all of that. So yeah, it came from, I believe humanity is, we have duality, and a lot of people, we make that choice of where we want to go. We're all just constructed on a multi-dimensional Saturn thread. We can go on whichever we want to go. It's a poem I wrote, so that's why.
Okay.
That's from a poem I wrote. And,
I'm watching.
Yeah,
no,
what
please,
we say.
Please go ahead.
So yeah, I write in. I lost my train of thought, but you
That's
take
okay.
it over because
I'll give us another point to sprint towards. With this work and what you do now, what do you ultimately hope to see as your professional path, or are you still figuring that out? Because you have a lot of sticks in the fire between your makeup artistry, your modeling, your photography, your poems, and other artistic expressions and mediums. Ultimately, what would you like to have that cultivate into, as far as either a presence, a footprint, how you are, what you leave behind? What do you hope that end up being?
I'm currently more focusing on podcasting, and I want to see myself. I want to be studying psychology next year, so I see myself as a psychologist, practicing psychologist in the arts industry, cultivating a space for artists and scientists to come together and create, like a hub of creation, and then just help motivate people and hopefully spread my story to show them, like, through adversity you can get through a lot, and and keep doing that. I want to help as many people as I can. It's in my nature to do that, and I'm very capable of doing it, and I'm very good at doing it, so I want to do more of it. That's what I'm here for. Like, I know that's like my purpose in life, is to help people and show an objective perspective on life. At the moment, I'm doing podcasting. So I love speaking. I love storytelling. So podcasting, social media and writing a book. So I'm writing a book with my foster mom. So that's where we're heading.
Wow, there's like a million paths of questions that I would normally take. It's like, this is like being in the grocery store of great conversation. But I have a very zesty hot take that I want to run by you, though. But before we get to that, everyone, make sure you're hitting the favorite button on Maze. She's our third guest this evening. I could give you a highlight reel of the things that we're talking about, but you just got to keep it tuned. A special thank you to our other guests, Jay Rose and Timeless, who we had on earlier. If you have an interest in being on this show, you can hit my name up here at the top, send me a message, hit me a follow, message me on Instagram, whatever you like. Back to Maze, though. Okay, Maze. So you mentioned art, psychology, bringing together the ways that it can shape a person. I'm interested to know what your position or perspective is on, do you believe that someone who has not gone through the type of adversity you've gone through would have the ability to empathize or the ability to understand the world through your lens?
Absolutely. There's people different. If anything, there's people who are out there who don't need to go through adversity and can put themselves in other people's shoe, and hats off to them. That takes a lot to do that. So yeah, I do believe there's different people. It's the experiences you're given and what you're given with it. So even if you lived in a very privileged situation and you were given everything, some people will take it to one extreme and be a little brat about it and not appreciative, and there's people who will do the most with that. So it comes down to the person and what they do with the experience and what they're given. And there's 7 billion people over humans, so it's I can't cookie cutter with this one because everyone is so different. But yeah, I do believe there's multi-dimensional human beings.
Yeah, that was a great answer. So thank you for that. Let's move on to, because we've got a limited amount of time left here, move on to where we are now and what we're doing today. So you're doing your podcasting, makeup. You're also now a live streamer. You're on Plenty of Fish. How did you get involved with all of this?
Well, I have streamed before on other platforms, and then one of my friends was like, hey, have you heard of this? And I was like, no. It's like, you'd be great, you already stream, you already have a platform on Instagram, you've grown your platform, why don't you just you're gonna start podcasting, you're great at storytelling. So I was like, okay. So I just transitioned over, and that was it. And now it's actually today, it marks 1 month on this account.
1 month. And what do you feel like you've learned in your 1 month on these stream streets?
Oh, it's been one hell of a journey. It's been, I'll just, look, there's a lot of interesting personalities. So it's a lot of people management, and also you get to meet really cool people. I actually, for the first week that I was on there was a podcaster that he heard one of my poems, and he said, oh, okay, I want to hear your story. And then he interviewed me on his podcast, and I have met some really incredible people on here that are hard workers and resilient and loving and caring and supportive. So I've learned there's a lot of creative people out there that I'm yet to reach, and I'm really excited about that. And there's a lot of stories to be heard. So yeah, I'm excited.
You're touching on my follow-up question to that, because as someone who is so busy and doing so many things and has so many interests, here you are adding another one to the basket. What do you see as a resource or something that you can gain from this? Is it what you just led with there, is that there's so many people, so many stories, so many things to learn, or do you see something else besides that?
Yeah, I can see myself growing on this platform. Definitely want to connect with people more, see if, I want to make this into, like, if I can make it to top badge, that would be amazing. That would be like my goal, and like to keep growing and, grow the community and like connect with people and be able to help each other. That would be awesome. And it will tie really well with my podcast and bringing people together. If I can do that and people, they love me and they enjoy my content and I can entertain them, I would love that. I want to entertain. That's my goal. Entertain educate, and learn. That's like my 3 goals.
I think those are good goals. Something that we can all carry with us. So excellent. As is with tradition with the show, is there anything that we haven't touched on, talked about, gotten into that you're passionate about, that you'd like to promote? Obviously, you should plug the name of your podcast, some of the channels or other platforms that you do, things like that. Let us know anything that you want to talk about.
Oh, I have a podcast coming up. It's called Mace Analysis, but everything on my Instagram. So when you click on my Instagram, it's Mace Benatti. Everything is there. I have I'm a host on Mustard Flats. So that's another podcast that you can find on YouTube. And that's what we're collaborating with. So yeah, if you want, that's like my Instagram is what I like post. But because I've been starting to stream, I've kind of reeled back from Instagram. I'm going back to content creating. I've sort of just been focusing on streaming because I really enjoyed it, and I really, I love it. It's great. So that's, if you want to find anything, Instagram. Everything's there.
It's all on the Instagram. So click her name or click the box thing. Follow the links. There you go. And same deal. If you want to do that with me, it's cool. Mace, I mean, it's possible if you want to. Mace, is there any, you have to. I'm trying to weasel my way up to 10K over here. I'm trying to be in the big leagues like you.
Let's get you to the 10K.
I'm like 3,000 away. That feels like lifetime.
Manifest it. Manifest it. Just, you know what you do? A couple of reels. Reels is the way to go. Just smack out some reels and you got to go. And just say that you have an Australian friend. Americans love Australians, so just, and then you'll get a.
Are you ready? Here's my first reel. Hi everyone, this is Chris. I have an Australian friend. Subscribe. That's all I do. Like tell people I have an Australian friend.
Just have me in the background with my Aussie accent, and then you'll just get all the hits. I don't know what it is. It's Americans love the Aussie accent.
What if just every day I say I have this Australian friend, but I never introduce you and you're never there, and I just keep alluding to that I know someone in Australia, but then I never actually reveal. It's just constantly kicking the can down the road.
Genius work, keep him keen, treat him keen, keep him keen kind of situation. Yeah. I like that. Genius work.
I got this. I got it. Content director for ideas like that. Thank you so much, Mace, for being here. It's been awesome to get to know you. I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface, so we'll have to have you back on the show again sometime. Thank you for being here, though, seriously.
My pleasure. My absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Excellent. There you go, everyone. The one, the only, the person who's got a lot of things going on. Mace! She's like, I'm out of here. She's like, I'm not staying for the favorite part. This is Suit Up. My name is Chris Casper. It's so great to be with you. This is a show we do every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you know words, you could have completed that sentence, but I don't, and I'm still learning them. So we're going to try that again. If you have some interest in being on this show, go ahead and hit my name at the top, at the thing with the name and the link. You can click it, and it's going to give you a link to my Instagram, my TikTok, which I don't post to, my YouTube, which I'm going to be posting to. But then I've also got my Instagram there, which I am super active on, my alt account, which is my collectibles page. Basically, if you, for whatever reason, like collectibles and want to hear more of my nonsense, you can follow that page. And I'd really appreciate it if you did, because we're opening some really rare and vintage stuff on there. I opened up a Kingdom Hearts booster pack on yesterday's reel. I opened up some stuff from the 2000s on there from Dragon Ball Z. I've got Squishimals trading cards. I've got Webkins. I've got My Little Pony. I've got Dragon Ball stuff. You don't want to miss any stuff, right? I got the hookup. I'm the plug on the packs, all right? So until next time, everyone, my name is Chris Casper. A special thank you to you for being here. A special thank you to our guest this evening, Jay Rose, the diving man with no fear, Timeless, the cook and aficionado, and Maze, the person who's doing the podcasts and the things. To our gifters this evening, a special thank you to Lolo, to Even Steven, to Bart, to Zaxtifer, Sin City Robert, good listener. We've got Tawny. We have in our top 3 Miss Cupid, Brooklyn's Southern girl Bella, and then Brooklyn herself. Everyone, exciting news. We are 75,000 diamonds away from being Ruby. I started streaming before levels came out. That's why I'm not Ruby. I'm still gold. I've been gold for like 4 years. I know. I don't even know how I'm going to act as a Ruby. I'm going to have to get like a robe and start drinking coffee out of like a coffee mug and not putting any creamer in it because, you know, it's like very official that way. But anyway, a special thank you to you for being here. If you just now, oh, do I convert? I'm the ultimate gift flipper. I can't cash out. Who do I need to talk to about this? I'm the ultimate gift flipper. Like you accuse, I've seen the truth pages. I see the accusations. There is no bigger gift trader flipper than me. I am that guy. I have to be. It's me. Okay? So, yeah. All right. So, you know. Anyway, special thank you to you and to everyone that I met at Playlist. If you have any photos with me, or maybe like you caught the side of my cab or something like that, that would be cool. Send them to me on my Instagram. It's up here. I see Juliet in the comments too. This is someone that we met at Playlist, and she tried to get into one of the parties, and because it was an exclusive party, we talked about these exclusive events. Unfortunately, she was not able to get into. But she thought the party looked so cool that she downloaded the app, and she's like, I'm going to learn how to do this stuff so I can join all of you next year. So if you need a better testament of how big and how cool these events are and how cool they looked, ask Juliet. She downloaded the app just so that she can try and get to the parties next year. She's also a very cool person. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. My name is Chris Casper. I look forward to seeing you Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the rundown, this time not featuring anyone in the background. Till then, stream with respect and much love to you. Cheers, everyone. Bye. See, I didn't time it.